anything for the lighthouse. Lord, I owe my life to Him. You see, Jesus is the lighthouse. And from the rock to sin, and shone His light of love around me. And I clearly see that if it wasn't for the lighthouse, tell me where would my be?
Precious God, bless your word. Let the atmosphere speak to our hearts and our minds. I guess sometimes the older you get, sometimes the wiser you become, other times the foolish. But hopefully, as the Lord grace you to see age, hopefully we pray that you grow in grace.
Amen.
And this is why the scriptures teach you to follow them that follow the Lord, especially those that are elders indeed. Not only in deed, but in age, but in a good age, whose life follows the gospel. There are a lot of ways you can learn sometimes being a newcomer when you come into a congregation. When I first entered into the realm of holiness, the world of holiness, this was years ago, I first came in by way of Tajik, when they were still somewhat upholding the old standards of holiness, or the biblical standards. And as a young man coming out of the clubs, from traditional churches, I looked at the young people, and I saw how the young women dresses were getting shorter and shorter. They were sticking on makeup and little jewelries. I didn't know much, and I saw how the young men were becoming caddish in their way, and I said, well, I understand. Trying to be cool in the church. And how sometimes during practice, the young musicians would break out into secular songs since the church was empty. And they would get to playing and laughing. And I was fresh out the club, so I'm in the church and you playing as a brick house, you understand? And you laughing at it, but this was my livelihood a few months ago. But I said to myself, I'm going to keep my eyes on the elders. I'm going to watch the older women and men that live right. I think I'm going to follow their example, because some of these young folks, they seem a little bit too out there, and I'm a young comer. I said that when I get older, I will be, not trying to be, but I will be stronger than my peers. While the young people may continue to go astray, I'll be stable because I'll follow the landmark of the elders that live right. And sure enough, many of them young folks went back to that world. Some of them were born in the church. But by His grace, I'm still in the race.
Yes, Lord.
A lot of things I didn't understand, but I followed them that appeared to be right. I dress like they dress. Sometimes you might not understand, but you look at those that you know are faithful, women, and you imitate them. Young men, you imitate them. And if they're really righteous and if you're sitting in truth, you're going to find out that you're doing the right thing. Amen. So you can learn just by observing. And you get an understanding as it goes. But you have to understand that God tries our hearts by the things that we deal with every day. Because these are things that pull our hearts. And He tries us with these things. We've been teaching a lot on it in Deuteronomy, how that God allowed them to be tried and tempted with the trials and tribulations that they went through, so that they may be proven and their hearts may be manifested. But I feel an open virtue, and I'm pretty straight to the point with all due respect. And I got news for you. You understand what I'm saying? I got nothing to do with this world. I could care less if it never played a game, never watched a movie, never did a dance, never went to Six Flags or anything. It doesn't even bother me. Because I'm learning, the older I get, what's most important that I enter into the kingdom.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
When you're good and saved, even though you might not understand things, you'll be willing to almost do anything. When I entered into the United Pentecostal Church years ago, they didn't watch television at all. I never heard of that before. My pastor came into the house and saw our television. I think we might have been a week or two, we baptized, maybe a month. And though he wasn't the most gracious man, he looked at me and said, "We don't watch TV." I said, "Oh, we don't?" He said, "No, sir." I guess he was trying my spirit, amen? And I grew up on television, you know. 4 o'clock in the morning, some of y'all don't remember, television used to go on.
That's right.
And that circle used to come on. Then I'd get up and go to school. For a while, you sit there watching the and that's when it was free. Right? Did you imagine? Free? Lord help us. Now look at it. Cost more than a house note. You see, now they make it look like a big thing. You can order these antennas and see your local station free. Man, it was always free. That's not nothing new. They're reversing it, huh? Well, and he said, "We don't watch TV." So for 13 years, I put away television. I just put it away. I felt that's what God wanted me to be. Said no evil thing before your face. Okay, no problem. Put it away. I never forget, I think it was my 8th child who was at my mother's house. And she saw TV for the first time, and she started jumping and flipping all over the floor. And she said, I think it might have been Octavia, she would just turn and flip. She was about 4 or 5, I don't know. Anyway, she said, "Oh, look at those little people on that box." And my mama said, "She ain't never seen a TV before." I said, "No, ma'am." Of course, she said her favorite word. Later on, when we come down here, this and that, me and Mom sometimes, we used to just take a night out and go to the hotel, get away, just me and her. And one day I decided, let me turn the TV on and see what's on. I ain't turned it on in 13 years. I flipped it on. They had some movie about a southern town that every so many years, all the dead people come back to life. And they change the signs around to get northerners to come in, and then they cut them up and they barbecue them. Now, back in my day when we watched TV, every time something dramatic was about to happen, some of y'all never remember what happened. It went off. You never saw it. And so, they got this one lady that took her in the room and she was screaming. And they put the chainsaw on. I said, "Mama, look at this. Like they really gonna cut her." I'm waiting on the commercial. The thing got closer. I said, "They really getting good with this." Like they really gonna cut her. They started cutting her. Blood started coming out of everywhere. Now, I know it was a movie, but she was screaming. My eyes, no, I ain't watched TV in 13 years. My eyes got big. I fell to the floor and looked outside. I said, "Oh my God." I said, "Lord, did the rapture come and we got left?" You see, I never heard of cable. I never heard of cable. But nevertheless, then the Lord gave wisdom to a lot of people. It's not the box that was sinful, but it's what you allow to be put on it. And I think the organization came up with that same understanding, even though their ministers are still not allowed, but church members can, as long as they, if I'm correct, program their own things, you understand? Monitors or what have you. However, it is not the box that was the sin, it's what you allow to come on it. It's in your control. You understand? Amen. But it doesn't hurt not to have one. But God hates an uneven what? Balance. So now if you teach against the television, because even though you are in control of it, then you're going to have to put down your smartphone and your computers, because they're worse than the television.
That's right.
At least with the TV, you know, unless you stay up late at night, you might see a few bad stuff. The rest you got to pay for. But that doggone computer, I don't take you around the world, in the world, under the world, through the world, and a couple other worlds free. And it's very addictive. Many children and many people have been hurt and snatched. Many families have been destroyed because of the liberty that you can have freely at your disposal. So you understand what God hates an even balance? So when you're preaching in one direction, you got to be sure that you're balanced. You see? And some of the people say, well, I don't watch the news on TV, I watch it on the computer. But what good is that? Because you can watch whatever you want to on that computer. Free. No matter how dirty, how ugly, how nasty, even murders. However, I said that to say this. I have found out that when you are brought up in holiness, which means righteous living, and when you abide by the teachings and standards of the scriptures, that it's a safeguard. It's a safeguard. And we have to start taking our doctrine, every phase of it, every dotting of the I, every crossing of the T serious. Because if your instructions have been given you by way of the Holy Ghost, then there's a reason for everything. For instance, we don't teach boyfriend and girlfriend because the scriptures don't teach it. We don't teach dating, going out on different dates, this and that, because the scriptures don't teach it. But we do teach engagement. But we teach engagement at the age of 16. Of course, with your parents' consent, we allow you to be engaged. However, in the engagement, there is no intimate exchange, no matter how old you are. No kissing, no hugging, no holding of hands, no gift exchanging. We teach that the main purpose of the engagement is to get to know the character of the individual. You may talk via telephone within reason. You may go on chaperone dinners, meaning dinners with qualified married couples or qualified church people. And we even say ride in separate cars, unless you're in the car with other people. Why is that? Because you're engaged. And the engagement is binding. But it's not permanent until you can see how compatible you are. But if you're not compatible, then there is no harm done. There's been no kissing. There's been no sex. There's been no waste of money. But you just better became acquainted with a saint in Christ. And you can step back as friends. Now, we do that by permission, because when you engage in the scriptures, you ought to marry unless something is wrong. However, in the scriptures, they did not have chaperone dinners. But as Paul made certain rules because of a certain situation, we allow that because of a certain situation, the time we live in when the family is no more. And half the time, you don't know who you're marrying or what you're marrying. Now, the government in certain places no longer ask you to get blood tests, but I would suggest get a blood test and even look at the birth certificate to make sure you're marrying a woman and you're marrying a man. This is the world that we live in now. When your auntie could have been your uncle at birth. And Mrs. Susie, your first grade teacher, is really Sandy. masculine. And if it doesn't work, you're not upset because you put a whole lot of money, because gifts are blinding. That's why we say no gifts. Gifts are blinding. And coming up throughout the churches, I've seen people, even young ministers. I never forget one young minister was trying to marry this woman, bought the furniture, everything. And a week before the marriage, walked down the aisle with somebody else saying God told him that's who he should marry. What a devastating blow. And then when you become physically involved, you understand the true union of a marriage is that sexual act, you understand?
That's right.
But when you become physically involved, that emotion can also blind you and cause you to overlook the red flags. And so we keep it separate. Now, this is not like in a religion that tell you when to go to bed, when you do. Now, I'm not talking about married folk. I'm talking about people that are anticipating on being married. Then if you see that you're not compatible, a brother or sister can marry somebody else in the church and there's no embarrassment. You see, you ain't been jumping and falling in bed one person to the next. There's no embarrassment. You see what I'm saying? Years ago, there was a middle-aged couple, and the woman was pretty faithful. The young man was new to the church, and he turned to be pretty faithful, and they got engaged. And one day, the young man wanted, he was in his 50s or something like that. He figured, we old, let's hang out together. She says, no, we don't want to do that. And then he said, because Lust ain't got no age, right? Mm-hmm. When Samson saw the woman he wanted to marry, he was around 40-something. He went back, told his dad, go talk to the father. Anybody hear me?
Right.
Abraham looked at his son and said, my son needs a wife. So he sent his servant, who'd been with him from a child up, who was wise, and said, go find a wife for my husband. And Isaac was 40 years old. Or because you wrong don't mean you can't do wrong. Lust don't have an age. Yeah, you're going to hell if you fornicate at 13, you're going to hell if you fornicate at 55. Let not fornication be once named amongst the church. So I don't care how old you are. Chaperone dinners. Anybody hearing me? Listen. Because the Bible said it is good that you don't even touch a woman. You got no business just hanging around women or men unless there's a reason. Why? To avoid fornication. Do we have to explain that? And he said, well, listen, since we get married, we can do something. She says, no. Of course, he gets mad, and there's no more engagement. Years later, he dies. And he died from AIDS. The doctor saved her life. Because right before he got saved, he encountered a prostitute, not knowing she had AIDS. And for almost 10 years, it began to take effect in his life. The doctrine of holiness can save you. It can keep you. But we have to stop compromising. Stop playing games and take it serious. In Deuteronomy 22, it says this. Well, just read it quickly, brother. Let's read real quick. Right? Just read real quick. We're going to verse 8, but read real quick.
Starting from verse 1?
Yeah, just read quickly.
Thou shalt not see thy brother's ox or his sheep go astray, and hide thyself from them. Thou shalt in any case bring them again unto thy brother. And if thy brother be not nigh unto thee, or if thou know him not, then thou shalt bring it unto thine own house, and it shall be with thee, until thy brother seek after it.
If you see something that belongs to your brother, go tell your brother, and listen, here's your ox, here's your sheep, this is yours. And if the man or the saint is not there, keep it until you see them. In other words, if church is over with and somebody leaves something behind in a congregation, if you can get it, go get it and bring them to them. But if you know who it is and they're not there, they're no longer there, you keep it until you see them. but you take responsibility of their possessions as though it were yours.
Amen.
You don't walk by and say, it's not mine. You see? Read.
And thou shalt restore it to him again. In like manner shalt thou do with his ass, and so shalt thou do with his raiment, and with all lost things of thy brothers, which he hath lost. And thou hast found, shalt thou do likewise. Thou mayest not hide thyself.
Don't hide yourself. You see something that's lost that belongs to somebody else, and you think you know who it is, get it. Don't hide yourself. You see? Don't act like because it's not yours, you're not responsible. But be responsible and show yourself trustworthy, even in the absence of the things that belong to others. Amen? Read.
Thou shalt not see thy brother's ass or his ox fall down by the way, and hide thyself from them. Thou shalt surely help him to lift them up again.
You should not be on your way to the store or to the park or to the church, and you see your brother or sister break down on the highway. And
Come on now. Come on.
Surely you should turn around and try to help, or call somebody you know that can help. Oh, I feel a small virtue. You understand what I'm saying? You don't see your brother or sister struggling in trouble and you keep on going. You turn around and help them. Don't hide yourself. Well, I don't really want to be bothered. Be bothered. Read.
The woman shall not wear that which pertaineth unto a man, neither shall a man put on a woman's garment. For all that do so are abomination unto the Lord thy God.
Women dress like women and men dress like men. If you dress, if you put on women's clothes or women put on masculine clothes, it is abomination. God hates it. It is idolatry. Read.
If a bird's nest chance to be before thee in the way, in any tree or on the ground, whether they be young ones or eggs, or the dam sitting upon the young, or upon the eggs, thou shalt not take the dam with the young. But thou shalt in any wise let the dam go and take the young to thee, that it may be well with thee, and that thou mayest prolong thy days.
Even be kind to nature. Be kind to the animals. You see mother or whatever nursing the bird, this and that. Of course, you know, in other words, if you're get it for food, don't take the mother and the young egg or whatever. Just take the youth, let the mother go. Read.
When thou buildest a new house,
This is my point.
then thou shalt make a battlement for thy roof, that thou bring not blood upon thine house, if any man fall from thence.
How safe is your house? When you build a new house, and many times they use the roof as balconies in the city, put a battlement, put a wall, a small wall, like a balcony around the house, so that when your neighbors come up, they won't fall over and hurt themselves. And the blood of your neighbor is on your hands because they got bruised in your house. The soul of your neighbor is in your hands because their souls got bruised from your house. Your soul. How safe is your house? If someone sends their children over to your home, they're going to come back saved or contaminated. Anybody hear what I'm saying? If you have fellowship in your house, where where they receive the Spirit of Christ, or where they notice something else. We are responsible for each other's family, that we cause not stumbling blocks. The church teaches holiness inside out, but then you let your family members do just the opposite. And then they go around other family members and children and young folks and young comers that are striving to do right, and especially those of us that are elders and supposed to be examples, and then the others see your house out of order, and then others wonder why their children are acting funny. Like they don't want to do right or want to be rebellious, and when they talk to them or when they think what's going on, it's because the seed from your house contaminated your neighbor's house. Because they don't understand how is it that Brother Bryant is supposed to be an elder, Brother Bryant plays the piano, Brother Bryant sings, and Brother Bryant does that. But I saw Brother Brian and his kids wearing all kind of jewelry and doing all this and this and this and that. And now they wondering and then I'm back in church singing.
Come on.
Now your family is confused because of my house. Holiness is real, people.
Amen.
And God is a particular God. Don't you think he's not?
Amen.
When he said on the Sabbath day don't work, he meant it. But the man picked up sticks anyway, didn't he?
That's right.
You think it was the sticks why God destroyed him? No, it was the principle. God was trying the heart.